What's up guys, Ninth Gym here. Today we're going to be talking about some new moves in Scarlet Violet. There's a lot of them. Spoiler warning, because I talk about signature moves of guys that are, end game guys and stuff. So if you are still at the beginning of the game and don't want to see end game guys, then this video is not for you. But if you want to see every move in the game, every new introduced move, we're going to be talking about them all. And just about every Pokemon that gets each one and everything like that. There are a lot of signature moves though. Anyway, let's get into it. So starting off, we are going to be talking about Ice Spinner. This is a pretty solid new move. It's Ice 80 Power Physical. Ends effects of terrain, which isn't really going to be a problem just yet because we don't have very many good terrain setters. We do have Indeedee, which will, be used some in VGC, but not like every team like, Rillaboom was in the past and Tapu's were in the past. You know what I mean? So yeah, Ice Spinner is mostly just here because it's a physical ice type move with 100 accuracy, which is really good. So we have a bunch of Pokemon here that can use it. Things like Azumarill can use it for coverage. You have Satitan, one of the new Pokemon. Chien Pao, one of the new Pokemon. Iron Treads, one of the new Pokemon. Dreadnought, which is one of the better Swift Swim users that we have available. And Quaquaval, which is the finale, the final evolution of Quaxley, the starter. So there's a lot of things that we can do here with Ice Spinner, and I think it's a solid coverage move for a lot of these Pokemon, or a solid stab option for a lot of these Pokemon as well. We also probably do get Icicle Crash. Yeah, Icicle Crash, that's the one I was talking about. 90 accuracy, not 85. Still pretty rough though. 90 accuracy is pretty rough, and for that 5 power change and chance to flinch, I think Ice Spinner's pretty promising. Next, we're going to be talking about Pounce. This is a really interesting move that not too many Pokemon do get, but we do have Scizor, which it does work with Technician, and because it has 50 power, so that works with Technician. Technician works 60 power and less. So Pounce does give you a stab option that works with Technique that is also very solid. 100% chance to lower the target's speed by 1. This is actually a really good move for Scizor, and a couple other Pokemon do get access to it. Things like Dragapult, Tinkaton, right? Yeah, Tinkaton, Breloom, a couple other things. Let's just look at the other stuff. Bramblegast, Heracross can learn it, which is, another bug, like another stab member can use it. Mimikyu, a couple random things can learn it, but these are, I think Scizor is just the optimal place for this move because it works under Technician and Stab, but, other Pokemon can learn it. Next, we'll talk about Chilling Water, and this is a really interesting move because, as you guys know, Scald was removed this gen, at least for the, the public. I think it became the signature move to Volcanion. That's what I saw in like a Facebook post, but Chilling Water is actually a very solid, very viable move to take that new role here. So Gastron would usually have to learn like Hydro Pump instead, which is, I'm not a big fan of low accuracy moves, and 80 accuracy is fairly low, and I would much rather go for Chilling Water here, and that's really good. So Chilling Water is a 50 power move, 100 accuracy, 100% chance to lower the target's attack by 1. So this is actually really good. I think this is very, very solid. Now we have like a Mystical Fire for physical attackers with water. So I think Gastron is definitely going to use Chilling Water. Now Gastron sets are going to be like Chilling Water, Earth Power, Ice Beam Protect, or Recover over the Ice Beam slot. Or even, Ice Beam over the Chilling Water slot. But I think having access to a viable stab water move like Chilling Water is actually really good. And Chilling Water isn't just like for damage, it's also damage reduction, which I think is a really meaningful thing. Also, Pelipper gets it, which is really good because, like I said, it loses Scald. A couple other Pokemon do learn Chilling Water, but these were the by far most relevant in my opinion. We have things like Abomasnow, Bellybolt can learn it, which is a solid, coverage option for it. Tatsugiri, the new water dragon, does learn it, although I'm not entirely sure of Tatsugiri's viability and not using just Commander, but I think Storm Drain Tatsugiri could potentially see play, and if it does, then Chilling Water is like an option on it. Next, we have Trailblaze, which is a very promising physical grass move. It's a physical grass move with 50 power and 100 accuracy, and it has a 100% chance to raise the user's speed by 1, which is very good. So we have things like Brute Bonnet and Serena that can learn this, and a few other Pokemon as well. The Abomasnow can learn it. Azumarill can learn it as solid coverage that also raises its speed. Cyclizar, Daxbun, Hawlucha can learn it for coverage. Meowscarada can learn it, but I think it's probably going to be using its own signature move, the Flower Trick, but it's a solid option. for raising speed. Passimian can learn it, which that could potentially be used. Scizor can learn it. Actually, that works with Technician, so that's actually really relevant. Scovillain can learn it. That's definitely relevant. Toadscruel can learn it, which is good. Wo-Chien can learn it. I don't know about this Pokemon's viability, but that's a very solid option for it. So overall, Trailblaze, I definitely think can be used. I think most Pokemon are probably still going to opt not to, like, especially like Zarina, because it's really just doing the damage. Like, it would rather be using Power Whip probably 99% of the time, but I think Trailblaze is a relevant option to give to it. So very cool. Next, we have this special move called Ruination that all of these Chien, Ting-Lu, Wo-Chien, and Chi-Yu can use. It's really just a Super Fang, or a Hyper Fang. Does damage equal to half the target's current HP, which is not, like, incredible, but I think, you know, potentially it could warrant a slot on these Pokemon. I don't think probably, but maybe. Next, we have another interesting move. This is a water physical move that has a high crit rate. It's 70 power and 100 accuracy. It's called Aqua Cutter. Pokemon like Quaquaval, Veluza, and Gallade learn it, and I believe that's all of the Pokemon that can learn it, other than pre-evolutions and stuff. And yeah, I think this is definitely a solid option. Now, Quaquaval will probably be using its move Aqua Step instead, because it has a 100% chance to raise the user's speed by 1, which is arguably better, and I don't think you're going to dual stab Aqua moves on this, especially since they're, you know, not that differently. But Veluza and Gallade could definitely use it. Gallade may use it as like a coverage move. Now, I don't think Gallade is that good of a Pokemon, but Aqua Cutter is definitely a viable option for it for coverage. Next, we have Axe Kick, which only these two Pokemon can learn, Low Kicks and Medicham. And it's really just a high jump kick, like reskinned. 90 accuracy, 120 power fighting stab move, 30% chance to confuse with a 50% recoil if it misses. So if you run into a protect, you're losing 50% of your HP. If you're hitting that 10% roll that is a miss, you're losing 50% HP. You might just use high jump kick. For certain like damage calcs, you'll probably just use high jump kick. Can this learn high jump kick? Low kicks cannot learn high jump kick, so Axe Kick is your option for low kicks. Next, we have this very interesting move called Revival Blessing. Now, I don't know if this move is even like realistic, right? So if you don't know what it does, it revives the fainted Pokemon to 50% HP. So it effectively uses a revive in combat. And I don't know if you can pick your target. I don't know if it revives a random Pokemon on your team. I don't know if this is even going to be legal for VGC. I feel like it should be, but it kind of goes against all odds of usability. However, this could be good because it could give a second chance to something relevant on your team. You could use something like a Focus Sash and just bring this in, Revival Blessing, and that's all good. Only Pawmot and Robska can learn it, and Robska is like fairly bulky, so I don't know. It's really weird. This doesn't feel like a real move, but it is. So I don't know. Tell me what you guys think about that in the comments down below. While we're here, Pawmot also gets a signature move called Double Shock. It's a physical electric type move, which is good because it's a physical electric type Pokemon, so it gets a good stab move. 120 power, 100 accuracy, and the user's electric type becomes typeless, which, you know, it loses its thing. It's like Burnout, or was that the move Burnout? But it loses its electric typing while also it has to be electric to use it. So it can only use this move once while it's out, and then you can probably, you know, presumably change it out and it will reset that. But yeah, that's a really interesting thing. It's a lot better than like the access to things like Wild Charge that we have. Well, not always better because you can use that multiple times, but I still think that's a really interesting new move for the Pokemon. And then the last move here that's not entirely a signature move, this is going to be Shed Tail. Now, Cyclizar and Earthworm both learn this move, and it's a really interesting move. It gives half of its HP, but to pass a substitute. So presumably it puts out a substitute and then lets you switch, which is a really, really good move, like an incredibly good move. It might even push Cyclizar up in viability. Same with Earthworm, but I don't know. We'll have to see about Earthworm. Now we're going to be talking about all of these signature moves, which there are a lot of them. So starting it off, we have Spidops with Silk Trap. This is essentially Protect that also, if anything makes contact on it, it's a -1 speed. This is very similar to the Iron Defense. I forget what it was called, but Togedemaru had it that protected and then it would lose 1 attack. Now it's lose 1 speed. So I think this is definitely relevant. And if Spidops is good, Silk Track will be on every single Spidops. But I don't know how good this Pokemon is. Mono Bug type is not very promising, and its stats aren't incredible. And yeah, so I don't think that's going to be great. But Silk Trap is very good for the Pokemon. Houndstone gets a move called Last Respects. So Last Respects is a very interesting move. It's a ghost physical with 50% or with 50 power, 100 accuracy, but the power increases 50 with each fainted party member. So if you have 2 Pokemon already fainted on your team, you bring in Houndstone, you're doing 150 base power with this move, which is really, really good on a stab physical attacker, which I think is really solid. It also has access to Sand Rush and Fluffy, which is an interesting move, or an interesting ability nonetheless. Sand Rush, Last Respects could potentially see play on a solid 101 physical attack. Not bad bulk, 100 defense, 97 special defense, with Sand Rush making its speed viable. So I think this is a promising Pokemon, and Last Respects is definitely a good attack on here, especially since, you know, our moves like Phantom Force are already really weird, and does it get Shadow Sneak? It does. So you could run this thing with a lot of different options here. It has a lot of different options for Ghost Stab physical moves, and Last Respects is definitely in contention for usability. Next, we have a Spathra with Lumina Crush, and this is definitely going to be used if this Pokemon is used. This Pokemon's not bad. It has a solid special attack and a solid speed stat, but not very great bulk. 60 special defense and defense is not very good, but 95 HP is not bad. Its abilities, it gets speed boost. That's pretty crazy. Frisk is good as well, and Opportunist is good. So this Pokemon is definitely promising. I think it's not bad. Its bulk is definitely, you know, leaves a lot to be desired, but Lumina Crush is really good. It's an 80 power physical attack, special attack. I'm losing my brain. It's a 80 power special attack, 100 accuracy, 100% chance to lower this target's special defense by 2. So this effectively is really good. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's really good actually. And this Pokemon's actually pretty fast, so you could theoretically use like Lumina Crash into like a Hyper Voice from a Sylveon next to it, and then just kill, guaranteed, whatever the target was for Lumina Crash. So I think Espathra is promising. Its bulk is really bad, but I think Lumina Crash is really good. Next, we have Dondozo, and this is a really interesting Pokemon due to its ability to use this in tandem with Tatsugiri. I think this is a really promising duo. Commander, if you don't know, gives it turns essentially this duo into one Pokemon, and then gives +2 to all of Dondozo's stats, which is really crazy. And Order Up is an 80 power dragon move, which is weird, but it does give +1 stat to its moves depending on the typing or the color of Tatsugiri, which Tatsugiri is kind of like there's 3 different forms, and it has curly form, droopy form, and stretchy form, and one of them will give it an attack raise, defense raise, and speed raise. So theoretically we'll probably be using the attack or defense, or attack or speed, but maybe a defense one. Its physical defense is already really bulky. I think it would be better if it was like a special defense boost, but I think we'll probably be using like probably an attack boost, and then this thing's going to be used in Trick Room. That's realistically how I think that'll be used, but I think Order Up will definitely be an attack one. It's set, I think, probably. Next, we have Palafin. Its special move is Jet Punch, which is really just a buffed Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet is a +1 priority move that has 40 power, and Jet Punch is 60 power, Water Stab. So I think we'll definitely be using this move, Jet Punch, on Palafin every single time. I don't know how viable Palafin is because its ability is really weird, really good, but really weird. It buffs its stats incredibly high if it switches out and then switches back in. So it's really weird, but I think this Pokemon could potentially be used due to its buffed version's attack at 160, which is crazy, and attack or in speed at 100, and solid bulk all around. This Pokemon's stats are insane. I mean, these are restricted stats. Like, okay, maybe not restricted stats, but they're up there. I mean, this is 600 plus stats, which is incredibly high stats. So I think this Pokemon is definitely promising, and with a 60 base power Aqua Jet, this is kind of crazy. Scovillain gets a signature move called Spicy Extract, and I don't think this is that good. It gives the target +2 attack and -2 defense. Presumably it can use it on itself, but I'm not entirely sure. But Yeah, this is basically like a weird coaching. It gives +2 attack while making it really, really weak in the defense department. This can be used a very many different kind of ways. It can buff your partner Pokemon or itself, potentially. Might have to target something else, but it can at least buff your partner Pokemon, or it can lower the defense of another Pokemon and then, you know, use a strong move. And this Pokemon has a high... No, it doesn't. It has a very bad speed. So I don't know about the viability of... Oh, wait, it has chlorophyll. That's right. That's why I thought this Pokemon has a good speed. This is viable, but I don't know on what team. Like, it would definitely take a certain team comp for this to be good. Revavroom gets Spin Out, which is interesting. I think it's not the best move in the world. It's 100 power, 100 accuracy with Steel, Stab, Physical, which is good. All of that's good, but it lowers the user's speed by 2, which is a pretty bad downside. You have something like Iron Head already with 80 power and well, not a high chance to flinch, but a chance to flinch nonetheless. So you're giving up 20 power for a -2. I don't know. I don't know entirely how usable that is. Its speed is like good, so I don't know if I would really want to use Spin Out, but maybe. Mousehold gets 2 signature moves. 2. Count them, 1, 2. Very interesting. Population Bomb and Tidy Up. Population Bomb is a multi-hitting move that can hit up to 10 times. Each hit can miss with a 20 power. Now this is not very good, but when you take into account it has Stab and it also has Technician, this thing could be actually pretty relevant. And then you could give it Wide Lens or Loaded Dice to hit as many times as possible, and that's pretty good. I think this will definitely be using Population Bomb if this Pokemon is actually viable. Now we also have the move Tidy Up, which is kind of a Dragon Dance reskin to be normal type, and it also clears any substitutes or hazards. Hazards aren't very relevant in VGC, but substitute is very relevant in VGC in certain formats on certain mons. Population or Tidy Up being able to remove that is pretty cool, but it is a Dragon Dance essentially, so you're not really going to be waiting to clear substitute for that. So I don't know. And it's pretty fast, so I don't think you're really going to be like, you know, turn 1 Tidy Up before... You're probably going to hit before any substitutes do. So I don't know about the viability of Tidy Up, but... Or like 4 substitute, but it's a Dragon Dance. So yeah, it gets Dragon Dance, Stab, Technician, Population Bomb. I don't know. This Pokemon's cool. It's definitely promising. Next we have Baxcalibur. Has a new move called Glaive Rush. It's a signature move. It's 120 power physical. It's 120 power physical dragon type move, which is actually pretty solid with 100 accuracy. You know, comparing this to something like Dragon Claw, the 40 power up might actually be worth its downside, which its downside is pretty significant. Next turn, attacks targeting this user can't miss, which is big, but it does double damage, which is the big one, right? 2 times damage, can't miss your next turn, making this Pokemon essentially a glass cannon when its defense and special defense and HP are already really good. So there's a chance we don't even use Glaive Rush. There's a chance we use Dragon Claw instead, but Glaive Rush is definitely really good if this Pokemon's already taken a hit. It's down to like its 40-50% range. It's going to die next turn anyway. You might as well throw out an additional 40 power move. So I don't know. There's a lot to be said here about Glaive Rush. Dragon Claw, is it worth a slot? Is it worth slotting 2 dragon type moves for that? Probably not, but maybe, right? You can use those. You can use, funny enough, this can't get the new solid ice attack, Ice Spinner. So yeah, we're probably still using Icicle Crash on this and realistically Protect. Now there's also, this says next turn. So can you Glaive Rush and then Protect? Probably. So, you know, that's another thing to think about. A lot of signature moves. There are so many signature moves in this game. So many. It's wild. So strap in. We got a lot more to talk about. Next we have Salt Cure on Garganacl. So I don't think this Pokemon is very good, to be honest. Its stats are pretty, you know, okay. It has like a solid attack stat with solid bulk, like really good bulk, 130 defense, 90 special defense, 100 HP. So it's good. And it has Iron Defense Body Press on top of its already astounding 130 base defense. So that's very good, excuse me. Salt Cure, however, is its Salt Cure, however, is its signature move, which is kind of weird. So it's Stab Rock, 40 power physical, which is what we want, right? Well, we kind of want a higher power here. But it deals 1/8 max HP every turn. It's kind of like a Leech Seed, right? Where it's like a Salt Cure that does 1/8 maximum HP every turn. This is solid. I don't know about this Pokemon's viability, but I think this will be used on this Pokemon because it's already a bulky mess, right? So if you can get some heals as well, it's pretty good. Next, we have Wugtrio, and I don't think this Pokemon's very good, but 120 base speed is very good. So we'll see, but its bulk is just so weak. It's incredibly bad bulk. So, but we do have Triple Dive, which is a 3-hit move that has 30 power, water stab. But here's the problem with it. It can miss. So 95 accuracy hits 3 times. It could hit 1 time. It could hit 2. Maybe it's 2. Maybe it's 2 at min. But yeah, if it doesn't hit 3 times, this is really bad compared to something like Liquidation, which it does have access to. So I think you would probably just go for Liquidation instead, to give away, you know, that 5% accuracy for 5 power. I think is definitely worth it. So I'd probably go for Liquidation instead. But yeah, I don't know about this Pokemon's viability with that bulk. Now you can just use like a Focus Sash and it lives twice, but we'll see. We'll see. Glamora has Mortal Spin, and this is not a very good move here. It's like alright, I guess, in singles because it gets rid of hazards. It's really just a poison stab, slightly higher damage than Rapid Spin stab move. It's not very good in doubles, but it's promising in singles. But this Pokemon is Rock Poison. It's literally Nihilego with like about the same stats with more bulk. So I don't know. This Pokemon's cool and all, but its signature spin is not good in VGC. Grafaiai. Its move is cool. The user and allies ability become target ability, so you could theoretically double intimidate, right? Or something else, but double intimidate is definitely the one that people would think. Maybe you can copy like Trace or something, like something that gives you boosts. I think could be good with Doodle. But you do also have Prankster, so you could Prankster Doodle and get a double intimidate down on something that could be good. So I think this is cool, but I don't know about the viability of this Pokemon once again. Veluza. This ability, or this signature move, is called Fillet Away, and it's very solid. User loses 50% of its max HP, gives it +2 speed, special attack, and attack. I wish it was like a defense instead of special attack because this thing, but like, look, you know, 100 attack, 78 special attack. It could be used either way with this move, but I think Fillet Away into like Aqua Jet could be good, but it also gets a speed boost. So it doesn't have to be Aqua Jet. It could be Liquidation. It could be Psycho Cut, you know, anything like that. But really what I'm saying here is Fillet Away is good. I don't know about the viability of this Pokemon, but Fillet Away is pretty crazy. It's kind of like a Shell Smash where you give 50. It's like a Belly Drum that spreads the stats instead of just giving it all to your attack. And the fact that it goes to speed as well is really, really valuable. So it's like a double Dragon Dance at the cost of 15% HP, which I don't know how good that divide in, you know, stats is for the Pokemon, but I think it's definitely promising. King Gambit gets Kowtow Clave, and this is just a solid move. It's a dark physical attack, 85 power, does not check for accuracy. So this is good. It's probably going to be used over Night Slash with 70 or the what's the other dark move? Does it get like Throat Chop, or is that gone? Yeah, that's gone. So Foul Play. Yeah, you're definitely going to be using one of those 2 moves. And I think probably Kowtow Cleave, 85 accuracy, or 85 power, 70 power with high crit rate. So there's definitely, you know, maybe it'll come up to some damage calcs which one of these you use, but this Pokemon, I don't know about this Pokemon's viability as well with like mid speed, solid bulk, and really good attack. I think it could potentially be used on like some Trick Room teams and stuff, but I don't think it's the best in the world. But Defiant's really good, and that's cool. Supreme Overlord is like cool. I don't know. We'll see. All the starters got a move, and Meowscarada's is very good. Meowscarada, it's very good. We have Flower Trick. It's a 70 base power grass physical attack move, and this is going to be physical. 110 here, 81. It's definitely going to be physical. Flower Trick also does not check accuracy and always hits a crit. So this move is by far its best grass attack. Looking at grass moves here for this, we have, we have Flower Trick. It says usually useless moves for Flower Trick, and I disagree. I think Flower Trick is really good for this Pokemon. It's definitely going to be used. Yeah, it's definitely going to be used. Always hits crit is like a huge deal. You know, intimidate this guy. I always hit crits. Like, it's really good. Skeledirge gets Torch Song, and this is a really good move as well. I don't know about the viability of this Pokemon once again because it's middling speed, and, you know, kind of leaves something to be desired for special defense, but overall not a bad Pokemon. Wish its speed was a little bit higher, but still it's okay. And its abilities are like not the best in the world. Unaware is okay. But we have Torch Song, Throat Spray, and presumably Torch Song will activate the Throat Spray, right? You would think so, right? If it uses a sound move, Torch Song, I would imagine. And if that's the case, then you get Torch Song. It gives you a +1. I didn't even say what this move does. It's a fire stab, physical, or not physical, special attacking move, 80 power. 80 power is the big thing here. 80 power with 100% chance to raise user's special attack by 1. Now, theoretically, if this activates your Throat Spray, then you get +1 here, +1 here from 1 Torch Song, which is an 80 base power stab move. I think this is really good, actually. And maybe this will be good on Trick Room teams. Maybe it'll be just like a not Trick Room team guy. But it also has access to Hyper Voice, which is, I know it's not stab, but it's 90 and spread moves, which spread moves are really good. And I think this is really good. You also have access to Shadow Ball, which after a +2 from Torch Song is actually doing a lot of damage. And you probably just slap Protect here. This is a very likely set. Maybe Hyper Voice changes for a different coverage move, but I think Skeledirge is definitely promising, and Torch Song is an incredible move. Quaquaval, Aqua Step. This is a good move. 80 power, stab, physical, give +1 to speed. This is just a very solid move in general. I don't know about the viability of this Pokemon. Once again, it has middling speed, middling every stats except its physical attack, but it does get a +1 in attack from, or a +1 in speed from Aqua Step. I definitely imagine this Pokemon is usable. Next, we have this Tauros guy, right? So it has the signature attack Raging Bull, which is really weird. So it destroys screens, 90 power, normal type, and it gets stab, I believe. Type depends on user's form, so it probably switches to fighting for this one, and probably switches to fire, and probably switches to water. And that's just how I expect it to work. Now, this might stay normal for the regular one, which would mean you just want to use one of these other forms. I don't know how to get these other forms. Might be real. I think they're just like regional dependent. Like, I think you can just find them randomly in the world, but I caught this one in the main game and thought it was the only one. And then I found out these, and I thought it evolved, and it doesn't. Just find them. So I don't know. But Raging Bull is solid, and if this Pokemon is good, which it has Intimidate and solid stats, like 100 base speed, 100 base attack, and defense, it's not bad. So I think this Pokemon's potential is very good. It also has access to Anger Point, which could be good, and yeah, that's not that good. But Intimidate is the big one here. Goldengo, which is a weird Pokemon, but very good in my opinion, I think. It has a really, really high special attack, solid bulk all around, 87 HP, 95 defense, 91 special defense, and 84 speed. So very good all around, except for attack, which is fine because special attack. And it has the move Make It Rain, which is Steel, Special, Power 120, and lowers the user's special attack by 1, which is an okay downside for Steel. And its ability, Good as Gold, makes it immune to status moves, which is an insane ability. So I think this Pokemon's kind of crazy, and Make It Rain is a good signature move. And do we have access to like Shadow Ball to get like any kind of, I don't know, it gets other things. So you could even just run like Flash Cannon if you want to like double up on that, and it gets screens, Memento, it gets Nasty Plot. This will probably be what I do. Nasty Plot, and then it makes the Make It Rain not even really matter because you're already +2. So this is definitely a cool Pokemon and definitely something that I would expect to see in VGC. So if you're going for Dex completion, I'd probably wait for this guy because I think the coins are like kind of hard to come by. I only have like 300 in the game. You need 999, I think. So maybe don't evolve your Goldengo the second you get enough. I don't know. Maybe. These guys, we're not going to pay too much mind to it right now, but it does get a signature move that I forgot to even put in here. It's Collision Course and Electro Drift. I only know this one because I beat the game. But yeah, we have Koraidon with Collision Course. This is a good move. 100 power, physical, deals 1.3 times damage if the move is super effective. I'm pretty sure that's what Electro Drift does as well. Yeah. So if it's... What? So if it's super effective, then you're doing extra damage, which is really good here. So both these are good. These will probably be used in the restricted format. They have really good stats and stuff. Yeah, this ain't no Dynamax Blade, but it's still pretty good. Behemoth Blade. But yeah, we're not gonna use those for a while. Slowking got a signature move, which I think is really weird. And I'm gonna like double check my math here. Chilly Reception, yeah, it's literally just Slowking gets this, and it's weird. So it starts the Snowscape, which is the new buffed ice or the new buffed hail, and then it switches. I don't know. This is weird. Why did Slowking get this? I don't know, but it's here. And then we have Snowscape, which is literally just chilly reception, but it doesn't switch, which is weird. But what the Snowscape does is it sets up hail, and then it also gives all ice mons 1.5 times defense. So it kind of turns the hail into sandstorm, which honestly should have always been a thing. Honestly, like, why was that never a thing? It doesn't really make sense. But a bunch of Pokemon get this. I don't know how viable this is because we've seen it, you know, many times, but since it does give a buff as well, maybe it'll be used. But here's all the Pokemon that do get it. I don't think any of these Pokemon are like that incredible, and like the fact that it gets it is not crazy. Like, I don't even know what this thing is. I haven't seen this thing yet. I guess this is one of the Paradox Mons from Scarlet. I got Violet, so you know. Dunsparce gets Hyper Drill, which is actually an incredibly good move. Normal, physical, power 100, accuracy 100, so it's stab 100 power, which is already really good. Nullifies protection moves. What? If this works like Feint, this is insane. If this just works like Unseen Fist, where it hits through, it's very good. So I don't know if this is enough to push this Pokemon into viability because its stats are okay. Its typing kind of sucks. It's just regular normal typing, but it has Serene Grace, which is pretty good. And yeah, Hyper Drill is pretty crazy. So I don't know, you know, what things we really get that Serene Grace really works with, but Hyper Drill is pretty crazy. Farigiraf gets Twin Beam, which is weird. It's 40 base power, special psychic move, hits twice. What? Psychic hits 90. This hits 40 twice. I don't know. I don't know about Twin Beam. Psyshock hits 80. This does something else. I don't know about Twin Beam. We'll see. Maybe if this worked like the Dragon Darts does. I don't think it does. Annihilate gets Rage Fist, which is pretty cool. A 50 base power ghost physical attack, which is pretty good for this Pokemon. Power increases by 50 each time the user is hit, and it's fairly bulky. It has 110 HP, 80 defense, 90 special defense. It's not the most bulky Pokemon in the world, and fighting ghosts is a really cool type. So maybe Rage Fist will see use here, but it does also get access to Phantom Force, which is, you know, maybe better. But if it gets hit one time, then it does 100 and doesn't have to do the, you know, predictability swing here. So I don't know about this Pokemon's viability. Once again, I haven't really explored like the entirety of a VGC format. I'm really just going in with like theories and stuff, but this move is cool. Armoroge gets the Armor Cannon, which is pretty cool. Lowers the user's defense and special defense by 1, but it's a special fire, 120 power, 100 accuracy, which is a lot of damage. And it's fire, so it's stab, and special attack is its wheelhouse. So Armor Cannon will probably be used on this, but lowering its defense and special defense by 1. It's the close combat of fire, special for this Pokemon, only this Pokemon, which I think is promising. It's probably going to be used on this Pokemon. I don't know if this Pokemon's going to be used, though. And of course, Cerulege gets a move as well. I was kind of expecting it to be the exact same, but attack, and it's not. It gets Bitter Blade, which is user recovers 50% of the damage dealt. Fire, physical, 90 power. This is really good. This will definitely be used on this Pokemon. I mean, what does it get? Flare Blitz, 120 power and damage. I think we're probably going to be using Bitter Blade. Probably, maybe Flare Blitz still. I don't know. 90 power, but heal 50 is pretty good. Tinkaton gets Gigaton Hammer, which is an insane signature move. I don't know about this Pokemon's viability. Once again, stats are really not very good. It doesn't get any incredible abilities. It gets Mold Breaker, which is all right. Nun Tempo is not bad. Gigaton Hammer is 160 base power, 100 accuracy, can't be used twice in a row, which is not that big of a downside for this. Like, usually this would be like 50% recoil or a charge turn. It just can't use it twice in a row, which is really good. Now, this Pokemon also gets Fake Out, which is pretty cool. It also gets Knock Off, which is pretty cool. So I think this Pokemon definitely has some room to be good, but its stats leave a lot to be wanted across the board. I mean, 94 speed is not bad. It's 105 special defense isn't bad. HP 85 isn't bad. I don't know. This Pokemon's cool. I don't expect it to be insane though. It's not doing much damage except with Gigaton Hammer. So yeah, we'll see. And the last one, we finally made it to the end. Comeuppance, which is not a fully, you know, signature move because Honchkrow and Houndoom get it, but they're not really going to be using that. I mean, Honchkrow could definitely be using this move. Comeuppance. Power. If hit by an attack, it returns 1.5 damage, which is cool, but is it that good? I don't know. We'll see. Definitely not the worst in the world. And Mabastiff gets Intimidate, which is pretty crazy. And it has solid stats, really good attack, okay bulk, special defense leaves a bit to be desired, and speed is like mid. So yeah, we'll see about this Pokemon's viability, but Intimidate, that's good. Anyway, that is it for the list of moves. This is way longer than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to edit it down as much as possible, but I don't think I'm going to be able to edit it down too much. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this format. What do you think of these moves? Are any of these Pokemon viable single-handedly because of their signature moves, or viable and the signature move is good, or the signature move is bad but the Pokemon is viable? So definitely tell me what you think down below. Anyway, that is it. Goodbye.